I don't know what it is. Just something about this figure on this motorcycle takes me back to my childhood. What the heck is up, you guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes, here back with another action figure review. And as you guys can see today, we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends. I think it's a Target exclusive at this point. I don't know anymore. Punisher, and to be honest, this figure looks nice. I've seen a few reviews, and I'm actually pretty excited for this figure for reasons different than most Marvel Legends collectors, but I truly think this is actually going to be a pretty good figure, and so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that sexy packaging. I'll show you guys both sides, and then of course we'll go ahead and bust him out, see what this figure is all about. Now, since this package is super freaking wide and barely fits in my workspace, I'm going to show you the front and the back, and then of course at the end of the video I'll just go ahead and show you guys pictures of the sides. But I do have my lights and they're hitting it a little bit, so I'll turn it. As you guys can see, you do have Frank Castle right here in the package with some crazy accessories. You got the motorcycle, which looks super freaking dope. I've got to give credit to Hasbro on this one. I feel like they did a really good job. Now, I'm hearing we've got this before. I don't know because I hardly ever collect these, but right up here it says Legend Series. You got Marvel, the Punisher right there at the bottom. Warning, choking hazard, small parts not for children under 3 years old, 4 and up, Hasbro. And then to get that glare off of there so you guys can see it, more of the weapons, more of Frank himself, this weird helmet that he comes with like he's a gladiator or something. Then turn it this way a little bit, and that just gives you guys a better sight of the motorcycle. So yeah, let's go ahead and flip this around. And then on the back, just more stuff nobody really cares about. The only thing that's cool is the promo photos of this figure. I gotta say, this shot right here looks dope. You have a little bio right here. Actually, it's one sentence. I was thinking this was a paragraph, but yeah, you got one sentence. And it says, Frank Castle rides through the night, dispensing brutal vigilante justice. So that's all you get. Then it says that in several other languages. All down here, you get all the legal stuff that no one cares about. And then I'll turn this to the side so you guys can see it. It says Marvel Legends Series, and then just more promo shots. So yeah, figure looks cool. Now let's go ahead and bust this guy open so we can see what this figure is all about. So first things first with this figure, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm not going to be covering any kind of backstory towards Frank Castle because you guys know I don't read comics, so I know nothing about the character. For all I know, I just seen John Bernthal Punisher, and I don't even know if that's the original origin series. So next thing I know, he could be trying to kill people because they killed his dog, so I'm not going to cover that at all. Now, on to the figure itself, I got to say that in my opinion, based on what I've seen, I think this is the most straightforward Punisher figure that we've seen dished out by Hasbro. Now, the reason I say that is because if you guys look at this figure, you see he doesn't come with anything that we've seen with some of the other Punisher figures. I don't see any kind of chest plates, any kind of armor, no trench coats, nothing. It's just straight to the point, and that's actually what makes me like this figure. It's giving me Undertaker vibes from WWE, and I really like Undertaker, so maybe that's what attracted me to this figure. But I will say this first and foremost, the head sculpt that comes on this figure I do not like. I've already bought the Walgreens exclusive so that I can change the heads out because I don't like this. Like, it doesn't look bad. I know Punisher is always beat up after getting in 1,000 different fights, but I just don't like it. Like, this looks bad to me. I don't know. But anyway, onto the details of it. As you guys can see, you've got the band-aid, you got the red eye, and so he's got his teeth gritted. Like, you can tell he's angry. You can tell it's Punisher. I know a lot of people don't like this head sculpt, so it's not just me. But for the most part, the paintwork is clean. I do have a few spots where it misses. Right here on the shoulder, this right here, the shoulder piece connecting to the bicep, it's a little bit of a different color, and I can understand because this was probably molded in black and painted over, so I'm not going to complain. But other than that, like I said, the blacks are pretty straightforward. I do like that the pants have a little bit more texturing to them than the shirt. They didn't go with just one solid kind of sculpt. I do dig that. Punisher logo always looks good. Paint's clean on it, and even if it's kind of scratchy, I can't complain because that's how the logo is supposed to look. So I do dig that as well. And then all the way down to the feet, it's not a whole lot. I've heard we've got this buck before. I don't know that to be factual, but if a Marvel Legends collector says it, then I'm just going to go with it. Now, one thing I do like that they did is this stays on here a whole lot better than it does on some of the Marvel Legends figures I've gotten in the past, because these little floating pieces can be so annoying to deal with. I just absolutely can't stand when I'm trying to pose these guys around and then these things just go flopping all over the place. And Demolition Man is the figure that I've got in mind. But anyway, back to this guy. They fixed one of the main issues that I absolutely cannot stand with Hasbro, and that's these little pegs that go into the arms. They finally fixed that, and it looks weird because I'm not used to it, but I dig it. It looks good. Now, this guy just looks like a monster to me. Like, I'm not used to seeing Frank Castle this muscular, but then again, 100 different comics of the character. So anyway, I'm not going to ramble on. As far as details and everything goes, this guy's solid. I dig it. So let's go ahead and put him back, see how tall he stands so we can get into the accessories and then the articulation, of course. I can't even believe I rambled on that long about the details. That's actually new for me in terms of a domestic figure. But anyway, as you guys can see, he stands almost 7 inches, so a little bit over 6.5. Pretty tall, but of course he's going to fit in scale with all of your Hasbro figures, so you don't have to worry about him being out of scale. Then of course I will show some size comparisons a little bit later in the video. Articulation wise, he looks up actually very well. Well, I think that's about average for a Hasbro figure, but yeah, still cool. Looks down even better, so that's awesome. He gets a little bit of tilt, not a whole lot, so you can kind of add some expression to this guy, but not a whole lot based on what I'm seeing. His arm goes up and out about that much, and that's only because of this shoulder piece. You can rotate it around a little bit and then get it to go out more, and it doesn't look bad, so you can do that. Of course, you can wiggle it all the way around. He doesn't have a butterfly joint. This arm kind of goes back and forward, but that's about as much as you get. Does have bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which once again look very nice. Hands are on a hinge, I believe, and of course you can move these around however you want. And I want to test something actually. Yeah, so it's still the same mechanism they use, so yeah, you can do that. Does have a ab crunch, I guess is what you call this, because it's not a diaphragm. So yeah, he crunches forward about that much, crunches back about that much, whole lot better. Thankfully he has the waist swivel. I'm so glad they didn't take that away. His foot kicks forward about that much, so he can really give the bad guys the boot. Doesn't kick back much at all. Can do full splits just about. He does have a thigh swivel. He does have double jointed knees, and they still have the pin in them, but I'm not going to complain because it looks a whole lot better than when they're in the arms. This is almost unnoticeable for me. So foot goes down about that much, up about that much, does have ankle rocker. So for the most part, you get your standard Marvel Legends articulation. Not bad, but I feel like there's not too many poses I won't be able to get this figure into. So I'm definitely satisfied myself. Now, for his accessories, I do think that you get a fair amount. First off, like I said, you do get this beat up head, and then of course you get these hands that come on him in the package. You get a normal head, which looks a whole lot better, but I still don't like it. So I'm probably, like I said, not going to be using either of these outside of the photos that I take. Now, you do get this gladiator helmet, and I have no idea what this is for at all. Of course, I'm not going to know, but if you guys want to know how it looks, it does go on there easily, and as you guys can see the eyes in there as well. It's actually a very soft plastic. Like, it's not a real thick plastic, so it fits on perfectly, and I really like how they did that. I can't complain about this. It's not something I'm going to use, but it is cool to have. Now, in terms of guns, you get some pretty good stuff. You get this shotgun, but I just feel like this is too small. Like, it looks cool, but I've never seen a shotgun this small. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I play Call of Duty. Maybe I just don't use these, but I ain't seen this before. So anyway, putting that down, I'm going to pick up these two guns. I know one of these is a Uzi, which is extremely detailed. It's one solid black, but as you guys can see, there's a bunch of sculpt work in there. And I always love when they don't give us those plain guns. I cannot stand those. So, and then the ones that are like weird colors, like brown and all that, I always end up painting them black. So, good job with this, Hasbro. And then I don't know what this is at all. I don't know if this is some kind of SMG or what, but I mean, it looks cool. So I dig that. I love when they include extra guns that aren't the same ones we've gotten a million times from them. Now we also get this machete, which the silver looks great, but the handle, this looks extremely cartoony. I wish they would have put a little bit more detail in this. I know they have a budget when they make figures, but I don't know. I just think this could have benefited from a little bit more paint. Now, not to be harsh on it because $20 figure, but I'm just saying, I think it could have looked a little bit better. But since the handle's going to be in his hand, you might not even notice it very much in photos. I'm just pointing it out. And then lastly, you got this baseball bat, which is kind of like a vanilla color. Once again, I mean, it's cool. I just wish they would have done a little bit more with this. Like, I don't know. It's just a plain color. I wish they would have put like maybe some wraps or something around the bottom. Since he always needs a good grip, since he's always striking people with things. Just something to bring this bat out a little bit more. Maybe make it a little bit darker, make it look a little chipped. I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling, so let me stop. Now, I'm happy with the accessories that we get. Of course, this still doesn't include the main one that comes with him. I'll talk about that next. I just wish this figure would have came with a pair of fist hands because his hands are actually huge. I was planning on swapping these out with maybe like the Black Panther hands. I don't have a lot of Marvel Legends, but I can tell they're going to be a whole lot bigger. Or smaller, actually. They're going to be a whole lot smaller than these, so it's not going to look right. But yeah, a pair of fist hands would have worked wonders for this figure. That's literally all I needed. Now, to be honest, this is probably something that I will either pose in the background of my photos or just never really use again. But that's not to take away from the greatness of it at all. I will say, I know I've said multiple times this is a $20 figure. I don't know what I paid for it. I just saw this at Target and I snagged it. I didn't even look at the receipt. But I think it was like, I think these are $29.99 or $39.99. I don't know. But I'll say that this actually looks great. I know it's something we've gotten before. It's just been painted. But it does look nice. There are some things I feel like they could have done to make it a little bit better, but I'll show it off up close first. As you guys can see, there's a whole lot of sculpt work going on here. You can actually move this stand up if you actually want to pose him like standing with his leg out, holding it up on his own, or you can move it from a double stand to a single stand, kind of have it leaning to the side. So that's a cool feature that they added. I do like that the license plate was actually painted instead of just sticking something black on there and going with it. They do have these red lights on here. I wish these were a yellow color. I feel like it would look a little bit better, but I mean, it's still cool. And these probably aren't even the lights. This is the light right here, so I'm dumb. But yeah, I don't know what the hell these are then. But anyway, it still looks nice. I wish they would have painted the rims though. Like if these would have been a silvery color, maybe some silver like along here, it would have brought it out as well. But I also like how they did the seat. Like it's not just this piece right here sculpted and then flowing into this. It actually looks like a bike seat, so that's something else I'm happy with. Then of course this little Punisher logo that they added right here for the speed, which is weird. Well, I don't know why you would have a his own logo right there, but I mean it's still cool to have. So yeah, I think they did a really nice job with this bike, and so I'll show what he looks like on it and then I'll go ahead and move right along. Now, as you guys can see, he does look hella dope on this bike, and I actually lifted the kickstand, and this thing started to roll quite a bit. So, yeah, if you're wondering if the wheels roll, yes, they do. But anyway, you guys cannot look at that and tell me that does not give you old school WWE Undertaker vibes. Like, that That's fire right there. Like, I dig this. And also, one thing I do want to mention is that the gripping hands on this figure, I don't know what they did sculpting these this time around, but you really have to work to get accessories in his hand or to get his hands on this bike. Like, those things are tough, and I'm happy about that. I think they made it that way so that accessories don't continue to fall out of fingers and stuff as they get loose. So I'm satisfied with that. That's one move that I'm very happy Hasbro decided to make with this figure, as well as some other things that they've done correct that I've already mentioned. Now, unfortunately, this is the only Punisher figure that I have to do a size comparison with right now. And I was honestly hoping that this was going to work. But as you guys can see, John Bernthal's head on this body just makes no sense at all. Like, this body is way too buff for him. And then if you look at this one, the head's too big for this body. And that actually just looks really silly. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to deal with these head sculpts that I highly dislike for the time being until my Walgreens exclusive finally gets here. Now for some size comparisons, here he is standing next to the Marvel Legends Retro Wave Spider-Man. He does have the House of M Spider-Man head on the body, for those of you who are going to ask. And then of course the Retro Wave Daredevil, which is probably my favorite out of the wave. Next up, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Ace, aka Animated Heroes, which is on the Superior Octopus body, so that's where the height comes from. And then the Mezco Captain Marvel. Now for all my people who like doing crossovers, here he is standing next to the Mezco Sovereign Knight Batman, and of course the best Batman figure to date, the Mafex Batman Hush, which just released. Go check out my review for that if you haven't already. Lastly, here he is standing next to a Kyoto Revoltech Deathstroke, and of course the Mafex Classic Outfit Spider-Man. And just a thought, it would be pretty interesting to see him go up against Deathstroke. Like, I have no idea who would win that brawl. Now, anytime I'm interested in a Marvel Legends figure, it usually means that there's something striking about that character that I want, or I just feel like no one else is going to make this version of the character that I decide to pick up. This figure is a little bit different though. I only picked up this guy because I had several ideas from what I wanted to do. Endless customizing capabilities. That was the reason. Because like I said earlier, this is a bare, straight to the point Punisher Marvel Legends figure. Like, he's missing a lot of things. And so that means I could pretty much deck this guy out how I want to. Get him a jacket as long as I can find one to fit his muscles. Get him maybe like a trench coat. I could get him a harness. All kind of holsters for his weapons. This is a figure I feel like I could just deck up however I want to. Of course, I'm going to change the head because, like I said, I don't like the head sculpts. Shout out to Unparalleled Universe. It was his review that even gave me the idea to go pick up the Walgreens exclusive that I had years ago and sold like a dummy. But yeah, anyway, that is what made me decide to pick that up. So go check out his review if you haven't. But other than that, I mean, it's a solid release. I don't have any problems with it. I can see that they're improving on a lot of things that I used to have issues with in the past. They kept the articulation. Everything looks clean. The black is fine. The motorcycle's great. Not a whole lot of paint splotches. It's a really clean figure. It's a very solid release. I feel like anyone who gets their hands on it will be satisfied. My only gripe would be that we didn't get a pair of fist hands, because Frank Castle is always beating the hell out of somebody. He's not always using weapons. And so a pair of fist hands would have really put the icing on the cake for this figure, at least for me anyway. Now I know Hasbro does this with a lot of their figures, but it's at the point to where it's like, come on guys, you know a lot of us buy your figures. You know the complaints we have. Just give all your figures fist hands. And I'm not even going to get into that because we could also get into double jointed elbows on female characters. But yeah, you guys get where I'm going with it. So that being said, I do like the figure. Go pick it up. If I was able to find it, you guys should be able to find this guy anywhere. Go check your local Targets. I don't even remember what the heck I was going to Target for. I wasn't even looking for this. I just happened to find it. So Once again, if I find it, you can find it. Now, not to ramble on, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That always helps me out. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new content. And follow me on everything you see listed in the description below to keep up with my activity outside of YouTube. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and peace.